Hey everybody, this is take 3 because I keep screwing up. I said in an earlier video that my experience of watching commentary channels was not unlike my experience watching Monty Python, and the point of comparison there was that commentary channels are talking about people that I don't know, and Monty Python were talking about places that I don't know. Now, there's a major difference between those two experiences, and that is that Monty Python is funny, and a lot of this YouTube drama is not funny. And the YouTube drama that I've been immersed in for the past couple of days is, Exhibit A for that statement. It's the Creepshow Art and Emily Artful drama. So basically, just to recap what happened, there's a lot of history between those two people, and it came to a head a little while back with Creepshow releasing a long video, making some pretty serious allegations, which was then followed by a leak of the original draft, which contained even more allegations, and then Emily followed up with a video that basically put the nail in the coffin to everything that Creepshow said. It's a devastating video. And apparently the genesis of this was that Creepshow's lawyers, who this is a law firm that specializes in online reputation management, so they're normally retained by companies to sort of defend their brands. She hired these lawyers, and they wrote Emily a very threatening letter. And that's one thing that lawyers will pretty much always do. Like they'll lead with a threat, because the idea is that if they can intimidate you into doing what they want you to do, then they don't have to take you to court, which is expensive and time consuming. And everybody gets what they want except for the person who got threatened. To Emily's credit, she's not buckling. She basically said, if you're going to sue, bring it, I'm ready. And if I were Creepshow's lawyers, after watching that video, I would quit. Basically, I would tell Creepshow, you have no case, I'm sorry, we can't take this to court. Because Emily basically brought out evidence and established patterns of behavior that are pretty hard to argue with. And since then, a lot of other commentators have weighed in with their own experiences with Creepshow, and pretty much the general consensus is that Creepshow is full of it, Emily has been wronged, and that's that. Now, it seems to me that a lot of this YouTube drama is very much like high school drama, and I'm sure that's not a new observation. I mean, everything is like high school drama when you get down to it. Working in an office is not all that different. You've still got a few hundred people, and they gossip about each other and that sort of thing. And this is the same sort of situation where you've got, there's gossip, there's rumor mongering, there's people going behind each other's backs to talk about other people, there's people who are, using sock puppet accounts, and it's all very sort of convoluted and silly, except for the fact that, A, you're talking about somebody who, if she's to be believed, and I think she is, has been stalked for 8 years. And when you factor in the amounts of money at stake, because basically the allegation that Creepshow was making is that the things that Emily had said had caused her to lose her YouTube channel, which was her primary source of income. Now, I didn't really know until fairly recently how much money big YouTubers can make. Like, I knew people like PewDiePie were making pretty good bank, but I didn't know that, like, even if you're not at that level of subscribers and views, you're still making some pretty solid money. So, when someone says, you killed my YouTube channel and that cost me money, they're not necessarily talking about a trivial amount of money. They could be talking about hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. And by the way, I would like to stress that the creation of this channel had absolutely nothing to do with the amount of money that it's possible to make on YouTube. Thank you. When you factor in that kind of money, you know, it sort of adds an element of high stakes to what is basically high school drama. And that's not to minimize any of the things that Emily's been through. I mean, you know, being essayed is not... I mean, it happens in high school, so I guess you could say it is high school drama, but, you know, drama sounds a little dismissive of something that serious. It is ultimately this sort of personality, popularity-driven thing. I mean, YouTube is literally a popularity contest, right? The more popular you are, the more money you make. So popularity equals win. So that element of YouTube will never go away. It's always going to be about personality. It's always going to be about that sort of stuff. And that to me is very high schoolish, which again is not meant to minimize any of this. It's just meant as a point of comparison to something that I think, you know, we've pretty much all experienced. The other aspect of this that kind of furrows my brow is that I was watching a YouTube video. It was a fairly longish one, and it went through the whole situation, and it was a pretty good breakdown. The guy doing the video was, based on some of the stuff he was saying, I'm going to say he's probably a little bit more on the SJW side of things than not. He wasn't like super in your face about it, but he did make a couple of remarks that would lead me to believe that. And so he asks this question at the end of, you know, what do we do? If Creepshow comes back to YouTube, what do we do? And to me, the answer is nothing. We do nothing. Now, included in that doing nothing is, you know, the implied idea that we're not going to watch her videos. I mean, personally, I would have no interest in subscribing. I would have no interest in viewing her videos. If for no other reason, then you know they're just going to be full of shit. But also knowing that she's a terrible person who did something really bad to someone who's had a lot of struggle in her life, I'm not interested in what someone like that has to say. And so I'm just making a decision on my own that I'm not going to watch that. I'm not going to subscribe. I'm not going to watch. And therefore, she gets no views and no subscription from me. Hopefully, if enough people feel that way, she makes no money and she leaves by herself because, you know, why continue doing it if there's no money in it? Unless you're like me and you're doing it purely for the enjoyment. Thank you. I'm going to link Emily's video in the description. I definitely think it's worth a watch. I'll link a couple of other commentary videos about it if you want the background and that sort of stuff. But ultimately, I don't really know why I paid any attention to this. These are not people that I know. These are not people that I have ever followed before. I'm not particularly interested in the deviant art community or the art community in general, but it's everywhere, so I checked it out. And I feel for Emily. I'm probably not going to watch her channel just because I'm not particularly into what she's doing. I might give her a review here or there just to kind of check it out, but you know, like I said, I'm not all that interested in the art stuff, so I don't feel the need to watch that. But I'd be a hell of a lot more interested in giving Emily my views than Creepshow. But it did sort of make me think about the content creators that I pay attention to and what do I know about them. And honestly, I don't really know much about a lot of these people personally because that just doesn't interest me. Like, I'm interested in the videos and what they have to say in the videos. I'm not interested in, you know, necessarily who they are or, you know, what they do when they're not making videos. The only channel that I support in any kind of financial way is Trilogy Media. I think those guys are doing good work. And as far as I know, they are decent guys. If it turned out that one of them had done something bad, I would not necessarily withdraw my support. It would kind of depend on what the bad thing was and how long ago and stuff like that. I might consider pulling my financial support, but still watching or something like that. But what I'm trying to say here is that it's up to each person as a viewer to decide how they want to respond to that. I don't think the answer is to run to YouTube and say this person can't be here. That's just my own personal opinion. I know there are a lot of people who feel differently, but my attitude is if she doesn't get anything out of posting her videos, she'll go away on her own. That sort of depends on people being educated viewers, which is an iffy proposition, but that's your power as a viewer, is the power to make or break channels by whether or not you watch them, or whether or not you comment on them or give them a thumbs up or favorite them or whatever. That's where the power of the viewers is. And I certainly hope that power is going to bite Creepshow in the ass, because based on Emily's video, she deserves it. And that's all I really have to say about it. I hope that people are not just following the commenters blindly, but actually like paying attention and making decisions for themselves about who they want to watch. And not necessarily just passively watching whatever YouTube throws at them from the algorithm. That's what I have to say about that. My opinion, for whatever it's worth. Enjoy it or not. Leave a like or not. Please do subscribe. I've picked up 20 subscribers over the past 8 or 9 days, and that makes me happy. So keep it coming. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye.